All right, we do have a doozy for you today. It's about global warming. We've got a lot of bad records that we've set, let me tell you. Huffington Post explains last month was the hottest August ever recorded, marking the 11th straight month that global heat records have been shattered, according to NASA data. So those are stone cold facts. That's NASA looking at the data saying 11 months in a row is the hottest it's ever been. The only thing it's doing is continuing to rise as we go forward every month. Okay, so what does Donald Trump say about global warming? Well, he once called it a hoax by the Chinese. We're going to risk the entire planet on a guy who thinks that 97% of the world's scientists colluded, all of NASA colluded with the Chinese to come up with an elaborate hoax where they pretend that the Earth is warming when it isn't. The guy's a lunatic. Recently, when asked to respond to nonpartisan scientific questions, his team said, quote, still much that needs to be investigated in the field of climate change. Well, no, the investigations are in. So let me tell you more about what's happening. August had a global average surface temperature of about 1.76 degrees Fahrenheit above average, NASA said. It also tied with July as the warmest month ever recorded since record keeping began in 1880. Now let me show you a chart of all those years and how it looks from 1880 on. That's what the temperature looks like on planet Earth. You don't think that the jury is in? You think that that data is inconclusive? You don't know anything about science if that's what you think. You don't have to know anything about science. Look at it. Look at the chart. Look at it. Not only is 2016 through the roof, so it's getting worse and worse and quicker, but look at the rest of the chart. It is clearly taking off. But no, the Republicans have a great idea. Let's just take more from the oil companies in campaign contributions and in lobbying, and then we'll work for them one day. And while the planet burns, let's burn it to the ground. But in the meanwhile, I'll make an extra buck or two. These people are monsters. They're playing with all of our lives. If you don't understand the severity of the issue, you're not paying attention. It is getting hotter every single month and every single year. So, more from the scientists. Climate change makes occurrences like the devastating August floods in Louisiana, the worst natural disaster in the U.S. since Hurricane Sandy in 2012, at least 40% more likely, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Those are all scientists. They're not lying to you. These things are more and more likely. They're happening now. Climate change is not something that happens later. Who cares? It's happening now. Here's Astrid Caldas, who is a UCS climate scientist. And here's a quote. We are feeling climate change impacts right here, right now. From wildfires and droughts to devastating floods, climate change fingerprint is all around us and does play a role in making events more extreme. We're in the middle of climate change. We're not at the beginning of it. We're not talking about it happening at a later date. It has arrived. If we don't do something about this, one day it's going to be a disaster way worse than it is now. And then you know what the people on TV will say. You know what the people in power will say. You know what the establishment will say. No one could have seen it coming. When in reality, all of the world's scientists are united and screaming in unison, we see it coming! It's right there! What people will do for greed is unbelievable. They'll literally burn down the entire planet for their greed. I want to know when the fossil fuel industry is going to pay us all back, because they privatized all the gains. That's in their pockets now. But they socialized all the costs. They put the cost of a warming planet on all of us. When do we get that money back? Well, they don't want to have that conversation. That's why they bribed all those politicians in America to do nothing about climate change. There will be a reckoning one day. Unfortunately, the reckoning looks like it's going to happen for the whole planet. At the Young Turks, we believe in change. We believe we can change the media, make it more independent. Come do it with us. tytnetwork.com/join.